On June 3, 2022, a notable incident took place in Midland. Officer Gilpin of the Midland Police Department pulled over a man, the owner of the YouTube channel The Last American Patriot, whom we'll refer to as Mr. Patriot. The stop was initiated on the suspicion that Mr. Patriot had been using a cell phone while driving. However, the reality appeared to be quite different. As Officer Gilpin approached the driver's side window, it became clear that the phone was securely mounted on the vehicle's dashboard, fully legal and not in the driver's hand. At that moment, Mr. Patriot began recording the entire interaction, a familiar move for someone who regularly produces content focused on civil rights and law enforcement accountability. This encounter quickly became part of Mr. Patriot's ongoing mission to defend individual freedoms and promote transparency within public institutions.
Sir, I'm Officer Gilpin, Midland Police Department, sir. Ma'am. And so the reason why you got pulled over, as you passed me, I noticed you had your phone up.
No, my phone's right here.
Well, maybe it was my mistake then I stand corrected.
Have a good day.
No, you're not free to get. You seem to be in a hurry, sir.
Was I speeding?
Yes, you were.
No, I was not.
Okay, you weren't speeding?
No, sir.
All right, your license, please.
Do you have me clocked for speeding, or did you pull me over for that? Because that's the first time you told me you pulled me over for that. Now you're telling me speeding.
Let me start over. Okay.
Please do.
I said I noticed you with your phone. You corrected me and said your phone was us up. You didn't have your phone in your hand, so I was mistaken.
So then you got me for something else now.
Yes, sir. Okay.
You have a supervisor?
I do have a supervisor. So
why don't you get him out here?
Your license, please.
What did you clock me at?
Sir, I did not clock you.
Exactly. So I wasn't speeding because I saw you whenever I turned off of Garfield, and I am obviously not going to speed past a cop. Whenever I passed you, I was going 16 miles an hour. It's 25 on these roads, 20 or 25 on these roads.
My supervisor is quite a distance away. I'm going to give you a warning and let you go. You want to talk to me, supervisor?
Great.
All right, I'll call my supervisor.
So you're holding me here...
You asked for a supervisor.
Because you're asking for my license for no reason, because I wasn't speeding. I'm not going to give you my license unless I was speeding.
All right, so you want to...
So if you're good with it, and I can drive away, I don't need your supervisor. Okay. But if you want my license and you're going to violate my Fourth Amendment, you're absolutely getting your supervisor.
Do you want me to call my supervisor?
Do you want my license?
Yes, I want your license.
Yes, supervisor.
Okay. After Mr. Patriot proved he hadn't been using his phone while driving, Officer Gilpin shifted the reason for the stop, now claiming Mr. Patriot had been speeding despite offering no recorded speed as evidence. Mr. Patriot argued he wasn't required to present his driver's license, since the original suspicion had already been disproven and there was no valid basis for continuing the stop. Whether a visual estimate of speed is legally sufficient is a complex question one will explore later in this episode. But even assuming the only reason for the stop was suspected phone use, courts remain divided on whether police can still demand identification once reasonable suspicion has been resolved. The U.S. Supreme Court in Florida v. Roy in 1983 ruled that investigatory detentions must be temporary and last no longer than necessary to fulfill the purpose of the stop. Once the suspicion is dismissed, the stop should end unless new reasonable suspicion emerges.
So those are fellow officers, not my supervisor. Supervisor on side town, so he's coming over, okay?
Great use of resources there.
I'm sorry?
Great use of resources there.
Okay, you asked for a supervisor, so.
Well, because you're trying to violate my Fourth Amendment.
Sir?
Are you or are you not? Why do you need my license if I wasn't speeding? If I didn't commit an infraction, why do you need my license?
Visually.
You can't pace from sitting still.
Visually, you came up rapidly behind me. You were speeding. My interpretation, I didn't get your radar. So that is why I told you were speeding, okay?
You don't know that, so you don't get my license.
So I'm driving, I saw you behind me. I saw the phone up, I thought you had your phone in your hand, okay? So I pulled you over because of the phone. You said it was on the mind. I said, sir, I stand corrected. Exactly.
Have a good day, you're on your way.
No, and I said you were speeding. You said we're going to start over. That's where
we're starting over, but you're still wrong. We can start over, but you're still wrong.
You can be right. We can all be going back and forth. I'm just explaining. You asked me to start over. I'm just saying what I saw and what I interpreted. And I did not get you on radar. You're exactly right. I did not. So I said you were speeding. I asked your license. You said no. You said I'm violating your Fourth Amendment.
Absolutely.
I said, okay. You said you want a supervisor. I said, okay, I was going to give you a verbal and let you go. I said, my supervisor on the side of town. I can call him if you want the supervisor. And I did.
If you got to have that license, I want to talk to the supervisor.
And that's where we are. So
how fast do you think I was going?
You're going over 10% over the speed limit.
You're out of your mind, bro.
Sir, my interpretation.
You're out of your mind. So if the speed limit here is it 20 or 25? I was doing 16.
That's
Is
what
it
you
20
say
or
you're
20?
doing.
Is it 20 or 25 right here?
If you say you're doing 16, that is your interpretation.
Is it 20 or 25 right here?
I don't know. You tell me.
You don't know.
No, you tell me.
You don't. Either way. So if it's 20,
25.
10% over would be 22.
If it's 25, 10% over is 2.5
Yeah.
miles.
Okay. So 27.5.
Yeah.
So you visually saw me going 27.5 miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
You need to get recalibrated.
Officer Gilpin claimed he visually estimated that Mr. Patriot was driving 10% over the speed limit. However, he admitted that he didn't actually know what the posted speed limit was. Mr. Patriot later confirmed that the speed limit on that road was 30 miles per hour, meaning a 10% excess would amount to just 3 miles per hour over the limit. Courts have, at times, accepted visual speed estimates as grounds for reasonable suspicion to justify a traffic stop. For instance, in Simpson v. State 2008 and Emerson v. State 2018, Texas appellate courts found that officers can rely on visual estimates under certain conditions. However, the Fourth Circuit in United States v. Swords 2012 emphasized that the Fourth Amendment does not automatically permit stops based solely on an officer's visual speed estimate. The court explained that the reasonableness of such an estimate depends on the circumstances, specifically whether the estimated speed significantly exceeded the legal limit. If the alleged excess is minor, like in this case just 3 miles per hour, additional evidence is typically required. Given these factors, a court would likely conclude that Officer Gilpin's claim did not provide a sufficiently reliable basis for reasonable suspicion, especially since he admitted to not knowing the speed limit and estimated only a minimal violation.
No argument. I'm telling you what the truth is.
But I'm
being molested by my government
Yeah.
for doing nothing wrong because you have to have my ID.
Because you violated traffic offense, yes.
No, I
In
didn't.
your interpretation.
You're a liar, dude. Don't come back up to this car. Get your supervisor. I'm not talking
My
to you
supervisor
anymore.
is way. Like I
Not talking to you anymore. You're a liar.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how you doing?
What can I do for you, man?
I'm wondering why I'm still here
Well, apparently you called for a supervisor.
because he wants my license when I have committed no traffic infraction. When your officer first got up to this vehicle, he said he pulled me for this.
Okay.
Because that's up there. When that was wrong, then he tells me that I'm speeding. I know for a fact I wasn't. I looked down at 16. The whole time I was behind him and past him, I looked down, I was 16 miles an hour.
Okay.
But he wants to get my license. He already told me he hasn't clocked me. He estimated my speed from a standstill, which you can't pace from a standstill. He says I'm going 10% over the posted speed limit.
Okay.
From a standstill, he knows this. I'm not giving up my license unless you're threatening to take me to jail.
Okay.
I'm not the war you guys want right now with all y'all have going on. I was going 16 miles an hour, but I'm not going to let him violate my Fourth Amendment when he was wrong.
Okay. So what do you want now? What is it?
I want to be unmolested from my government and on my way.
Okay.
It's not funny
Well, I mean, you sat here waiting for me when.
because he wouldn't let me go.
Okay. All you need to do is verify that you have a driver's license.
I'm not going to do it. He doesn't have a reason to see it.
Well, now, yeah, actually, we do have a reason to see
What
it.
reason is that?
Because we can actually stop you to check your driver's
No,
license.
you can't.
Yes, we can.
Not unless I've committed an infraction.
We actually can. I searched the traffic code. It'll tell you right there.